Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody, welcome to Coffee and Darts. I'm your host, Matthew, and today we're going to be talking about Fallon Sherrock and what's with the hype. But before we do that, I want to thank my sponsors. Of course, Shot Darts, making incredible artwork that we get to throw. Just beautiful, beautiful product that Shot puts out. I don't know if you've seen the Raven recently. It is an incredible barrel. I recommend that you check it out. Just beautiful stuff. And of course, Magic Wear making incredible jerseys. I broke out the original jersey, Coffee and Darts jersey. This was designed none other than by Jen Mounts. And if you're looking for a jersey, and I've seen this out on social media, people looking for jerseys. If you want an off-the-shelf jersey, you want a semi-custom where you have design and you just slap your name on it or a little bit more, maybe change a color, that's available. And full custom is completely available there at a really good price. And if you've got a team together, that's an awesome thing to do. And to be very honest, if you do other things than darts, which why would anybody do that? But if you play pickleball or maybe frisbee golf or maybe pool or something of that nature and you need a jersey for that, or you know somebody, they can help you with that as well over at magicwear.com. And if you need some more arrows, of course, check out Shot Darts at shotdarts.com. All right, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be interesting. Hello, everybody. What's going on? Daniel's in the house. Scott Carter's in the house. Christopher's in the house. Alan's in the house. All right, guys, this is going to be a fun day. We're going to talk about Fallon Sherrock and what's up with the hype. But before we do that, I already said that once, but we're going to do it again because this is like an infomercial today. I got to give a huge shout out to Jules Van Dugen, who played in his first CDC tournament of the year this year and crushed it. Made it to the finals twice. Made it to the top 16 once and top 8 once. I think that's correct. Maybe top 8 twice, but did very well this past weekend in Philadelphia. He is a fan of the show, so we're giving him some super props on that. There were some great winners there as well. Danny Lauby secured himself a spot back at the Alley Pally based on his points and ranking. I will say Jules, I think, is ranked like 7 based on one weekend just because he made the finals twice and just played really, really well. Excited to see, again, how he climbs up that ladder and if, a PDC card is not too far in the future for him. So it is a possibility. Would love to see him on the big stage. I think he's just got a great personality and a lot of fun. So huge props to him. Larry Van Gerwen, what's up, my man? Coming from Roy Collins there. Yeah, and I will say I got to give props to Roy, who did. Hey, what's up, Dax? Dax, man, it's been a while. Roy did take me out in cricket this past weekend. We had a very glitchy game just due to some computer issues on my side. My tablet just was not working right. So, but I gave the props to Roy. He did take me out. He shot well. So it was a fun game there. But I think I should have had you, man. But whatever. All right, let's get into this because I got to get on my soapbox a little with this as well. So if you did not know, there is this girl named Fallon Sherrock. I can say girl because she's younger than me. She's 21 years younger than me. Man, I could be her dad. That's weird. But if you don't know anything about her, someone that we call the Queen of the Palace, 2 years ago, at the age of sweet 25 for her, she was the first female to beat a male on TV. Okay. There have been other females that have beat males in tournaments, of course, but this was a televised, and not just a televised tournament, but this was the World Championship stage. Okay. Fallon went on to beat Ted Everts, which good old teddy bear Ted. I feel kind of bad for him even to this day because I think a lot of people still give him some crap about that. But hopefully after this past weekend, that'll stop. But she did beat him, going on to be the first female to win, get past stage 1, round 1. And then she went on to beat one of the top, at the time, top 10 players. I think he was ranked top 6. And that would be Mensur Solovic. She beat him handily. She actually did well. He looked totally out of sorts a couple years back at the World Championships. Just, I don't know if it was just that he was playing her and he was shocked. I don't know what the deal was, but he really didn't look like he even should have been there. And she played well and beat him. And then she came up against Chris Dobie, who was able to eliminate her from the tournament. But again, she got to round 3 in the World Championships, which had never been done. I mean, getting past World 1. So she got a lot of hype for that. You know, this girl that came in and she did all this stuff, you know, during that tournament, had a great tournament, did really, really well. Got a lot of hype, got the, you know, Queen of the Palace nickname attached to her. She had done well in female darts, women's darts up until then, BDO wise. She hadn't won any world championships. You know, she had done well. She was still young in producing some good darts, but that really put her on a pedestal in a sense. And let's be honest, she faltered a little. She didn't do really well when it came to the women's event that happened last year, which kept her out of going back to the World Championship. So we didn't see her at the Palace last year playing. She attempted again to get a PDC card, which did not happen. So again, there's this hype about this person that did well. You know what? There was some hype this weekend as well. Other hype. You know, I'm a big Chiefs fan. Big Chiefs fan. You know, there's some hype this weekend in regards to the Chiefs because did you know that Patrick Mahomes threw his first interception in September? We're hyped about that, right? We're talking about that. We're talking about Fallon. We're talking about interceptions. Did you know that Allaire had his first fumble as an NFL player that happened to give the ball back to the Baltimore Ravens, who, by the way, won their first their first game against Mahomes, which, by the way, that was the first loss Mahomes has ever had in September. I mean, these are things to be hyped about, aren't they? I mean, these are important things when it comes to football. At least for me as a Chiefs fan, these are important things. We were supposed to take this year completely, go 14-0, 17-0, whatever it is these days. I think they're playing like 32 games these days. We were supposed to sweep it and we lost to Baltimore. So I just had to get that in there. All right, back to Fallon. But see, we're hyped about this stuff when it comes to football. And I understand it because these are firsts for someone who is this hasn't happened to in 3 seasons. I mean, these are firsts, right? What Fallon did was a first, I guess. So we should be hyped about what she did. So let's talk about this past weekend. Here comes Fallon to her first, you know, kind of televised event in a year and a half. And, you know, she produces in the first round and does what we would think she was capable of. And, you know, she got a bye. I don't know if you guys know that, but she got a bye. This guy, you know, gave her this bye, this world champion who had elbow problems, gave her a bye. And by the way, just so that you guys see this, let me post this real quick. This is a comment. Let me see if this will pop up here. Pop up there. So this is from Gerwin Price. I gifted this to Fallon and Michael. It wouldn't happen every workout. It won't happen every week. I don't know if you guys saw that. This was his tweet right after that. Last post is called humor. Chill out. He got hammered for that post. But why did he even need to do that post? You know, I would venture to say, was he afraid of Fallon? Is the mystique, is the hype of Fallon really that big that it scared off the world number 1, the world champion? Maybe. We'll never really know if it was an elbow problem or an ego problem for one of my favorite players who I have to think would have beat her, but she got the bye. And then she goes up against this guy, Dimitri Vandenberg. Maybe we've heard of him. Maybe we haven't. He's a decent darts player. Maybe he's won a tournament or 2, you know? All right. Stop with all the joking here. She went up against Dimitri Vandenberg. She was down to meet Dimitri Vandenberg 7-1. Most players, when they're down 7-1, throw in the towel. Okay. Most players, you've played, I've played, we've been down 2 or 3 games. And we're like, oh, crap, this is over. It's not going to happen. Not going to win this. Then she's down 8-2. Then she's down 10-6 in a match to 11. Okay. She takes it to a decider and beats Dimitri Vandenberg 11-10. Now, are we surprised by this? Should we be surprised by this? Yes and no. What's up, Anthony? What's going on, man? You guys had a good weekend. Sorry, I got to get back on track here. Should we be surprised that Fallon was able to take out Dimitri Vandenberg, the dancing Dimitri? Here's why I say yes and no. No, in the fact that if you can rattle Dimitri a little bit, if you can get him to think about, if you can get him to get in his own head, he will typically lose. If you watch his body language, and Dax will attest to this, if you watch his body language when he's throwing and when he's playing, if someone unnerves him, if something there irks him, something kind of gets into his head, he will fester on it himself. He will do it. He will allow a little thing, he'll think about it. It'll fester. It'll become an issue. It'll become an irritant. And you can see it in his throw. You can see it in the fact that he starts missing triples. He starts missing doubles. Excuse me. And he will get himself offset. He has a phenomenal game. We know that. But that is something that I've noted about him. The fact that Fallon was able to put a couple games in, and just the crowd, a lot of those things you could tell were kind of getting on him. And then when it got to 10-10, it was hers at that point. He had blown himself up immensely. His doubles, I mean, let's look at his doubles. His doubling was atrocious at that point. It just wasn't there for him. And of course, Fallon jumped on it and took that. Most players, even top echelon players, aren't going to do what she did in that comeback there. Does that make her a stellar darts player? I know that's a question, right? Then we get to the finals. We have our first female into the finals in a major PDC televised event that is predominantly a men's type of situation, going up against Michael Van Gerwen, who, by the way, hadn't won a tournament in 18 months, was playing very erratic, having grip issues with his darts, going back and forth from older barrels to newer barrels. I know it wasn't talked a huge amount about, but if you look in some of the tournaments, you'll see that in one match, the barrels are newer. In the next match, they're well worn. So he's gone back to an older set of barrels if he got past the first round. But here's a very interesting thing that I found out there in the interwebs. If you guys will remember, going back to 2017, when BDO was defunking, they're talking about bringing women into the PDC and how do we make that work? And women were there, but I mean, they were really, that was that first really year that they women kind of got into PDC situations. And now we have tournaments, which, by the way, this weekend there is the women's tournament is this weekend, where we're going to see Fallon. We're going to see a number of other, Lisa Ashton, who, by the way, has a PDC card. And I don't see anybody talking a whole lot about her or giving her the hype, but she actually has a card and she plays against the boys regularly. And she does well there. She has won. She's put up some incredible darts. Just got to give Lisa Ashton, who is a world champion, got to give her props. She is certainly playing lights out and playing the boys on a regular basis. So, but back in 2017, this guy, Michael Van Gerwen, who happened to be in the finals against Fallon Sherrock, had this to say when asked a question. Back in 2017, he was asked whether there will ever be a woman player who could compete with the top men players. Van Gerwen simply replied, No. Okay. So Mr. Michael Van Gerwen back then, who was number one in the world, essentially said that what he was doing in the finals was not possible. All right. Again, this wasn't supposed to happen. We were never supposed to see a female in a final against a male, let alone against MVG. But if you go back in history and look at a lot of the comments that MVG says, he had a lot to say about Daryl Gurney, about how he can't play and can't compete, shouldn't be in the top 32, and comments of that nature. And then he lost the next tournament to Daryl Gurney. And he makes these comments from time to time. And I think part of it is just for the fun of the sport. But he was in a position that he shouldn't have been in. And not only that, if you watched the final, Van Gerwen came out, played extremely well, 2-0 up, had the break there, was playing really well. And then Fallon, for some reason, she just has this ability to not care. She goes up 6-2 on Van Gerwen, or I think it was 6-3. She won 6 the next 7. So just she's up essentially 6-3. I mean, she's got him by the cojones. Michael Van Gerwen pulled up his socks and did something he hasn't done in 18 months, and he put in some really good darts. Now let's give a huge shout out to Fallon in the Dimitri. She was hitting 13 darters, 12 darters, 14 darters consistently. MVG, when she's playing him, she's hitting great darts. But MVG pulled up his socks and did something we haven't seen in 18 months, and he finally pulled out the win. And I will say, arguably, not even arguably, it's not even an argument. He was playing the best darts player in that tournament that weekend. Fallon was certainly capable of competing with the players that she played against. So is the hype real? Does this 27-year-old female darts player have what it takes to actually compete? The simple answer is yes. We saw it this weekend. I mean, she is phenomenal. She doesn't get rattled. Remember, this sport, when you get to that level, and some of you guys play this regularly and you're good darts players, that level of play, it's not so much the motions as much as it is what's in your head on each throw. It's a matter of letting the last throw that when the treble one go, or if you've got 2 in a single one, it's letting that go so that you know that you're going to hit the trip 20. Or if you've gone down to the trip 19s because you're afraid of the one. But whatever that situation is, it's being able to stay in your head, stay in your lane and play, and not allow those around you to disrupt you. It is the job of those around you to disrupt you. That's this game, especially when you get to that level. Some players disrupt you in just the way they play. They're quiet. They don't say anything. They're meticulous. And they wear you down by playing well. Then you have players like Gerwen, who scream and yell and get hyped up, and that gets under people's skin. And to be honest, a lot of the players have gone to a point where they're like, whatever. Yeah, whatever, dude. Scream, yell, whatever. And they've learned to deal with that. You have players that get into their own head, so if you can kind of just get them a little off, you've already won because they're doing the damage. You don't even have to do it anymore. Crowds can matter. Ask Canada. Crowds can matter. Maynard. Crowds can be a good thing or a bad thing. Again, ask Canada when they're going up against Germany. World Cup. I mean, that place was rocking with hatred for Canada. Not because they really hated the Canadians, but that's what you're supposed to do when it's a country thing. Fallon really has figured out how to play within herself, play her game, and she deserves all the accolades. Is the hype real? Yeah, the hype's real. She can play. She proved it. She almost beat MVG. I mean, she had there, but MVG showed us what he is when he's world number one. He essentially put his throat, coffee break. Enjoy some coffee yourself. I'm going to take a little break here. MVG showed us what it's like when he puts his foot on someone's throat and crushes. And that's what he did with Fallon when he had to. Now, she played well during all of that, but he did what he needed to get the win. It's the first time he's lifted a trophy again in 18 months. He hasn't, been putting up the darts when he needed to. So it's good to see that. Do I think that's going to progress into a lot of MVG things? Honestly, I don't. I think he's going to be, and MVG fans are going to hate me for this, and I love him. I think the guy's great. He's got a good personality. He's great for darts, but I think at this point in his career, he's kind of average in that top 10. I think he'll stay within the top 5. I think he'll do well. He'll kind of hang in there. He'll win a tournament here or there, but I don't think we're going to see the dominance. I think he's a family man. And if you go to his social media, he's a family man now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Props to him. Before the kids came, man, he was killing it. He was doing the darts thing. Family came and he said, you know what? I got to put some time into my family. Now, as the kids get a little bit older, daddy's going to want to show the kids what daddy can do. And daddy's going to come back. And don't write off MVG for world championships, but I think it's going to be 2 or 3 years. And then we'll see him come back and he's going to dominate for a while. He will come back. He's going to dominate because it'll be a family thing to dominate. And then he'll fade away. I think his goal is to do that and then just be like, I'm done. Thanks. It's been fun. Maybe I'll go become a commentator, or I'll just go do something else. I'll take my winnings and do something else with the family. I think that's his ultimate goal. I don't know. Haven't talked to him, but I'll give him a call later. Then we'll check on it. But I think that's where he's at. I think for Fallon, this weekend is going to really tell. Can she come off the high and the hype? Can she let it go and play well against the women this weekend? Well enough to, get herself where she needs to be, into the Palace, into, a PDC tour card as far as being able to get to Q School and carry this all the way through for her. Should we see in a World Cup? I think it would be interesting. I would love to see Fallon playing. I'm not sure who she would play against or play with. That'd be an interesting decision to be made, but she's got the game. Why not? So as I talk about Fallon, as we talk about this, I believe the hype is real, as in the fact that she's got the game. But I think the truth of the matter is everybody's got the game if they put in the effort. They have the skill level. They've got the talent to play, and they are able to keep the mindset there. But as we know with the 4-minute mile, once the door is opened, more will find their way through it. So I look to see other female players start to push forward, but it's really going to take the women's game to set up the ability for women to play in a top level. What does that mean? Hopefully Anthony's still on here. It means CDC, Championship Darts Corporation, putting out women matches, like live tournaments that are competitive. That's the PDC doing more than one women's tournament a year. I'm getting on my soapbox, guys. Here's where the roll goes, okay? It's a matter of World Darts Federation putting together really competitive women's darts. And I'm not talking about 3-leg darts. I'm talking about long format. I'm talking about really giving the women the ability to up their game, play through the hiccups to play the long format. It's crappy when it's best of 3, but you need 3 legs to warm up. It happens. We see it with the men. We see it on the PDC. We see it in champ darts. The longer format, you get these guys that maybe struggle a little, have a hiccup, come back and dominate because the darts warm into it. So exactly what needs to happen is we need to see more women given the opportunity, because this sport, and I've said this and I'll say it forever, is the equalizer when it comes to sports. Every other sport I can think of, yeah, maybe table tennis, frisbee golf. I guess there are some other sports out there where it can be extremely equal. And the thing with frisbee golf is guys can, I don't want to get too much into that, but, dominant arm strength, all that other stuff. But this is the sport that we know of that really can bring in that equalization in sport. Okay. The women and the men can compete at the same level. There's nothing that really differs for any of us. The distance to the board, the height to the board, it's all the same. Okay. Your barrels might be different because you like your barrel to be different. Your flights might be different, but that's a personal choice. The truth of the matter is we need to help the women. It's not going to happen overnight. Fallon's an anomaly. Let's be very honest. She's an anomaly. There's one of the best women darts players that has a PDC tour card today and hasn't done what Fallon has done. Again, not taking anything away from Lisa Ashton. She is a world champion multiple times over. She's a phenomenal darts player. Not taking anything away from her. Not taking away from any other women's players that have played extremely well over the years. But Fallon's an anomaly in the fact that she's been able to put it together when she needed to in long format against the guys, and show that this is an even sport. So we need to play to that. We need to give the women the ability to play longer stuff, to have the tournament experience, to have cameras in their face, to have a crowd behind them screaming and cheering for them. Currently, that will change because as all anomalies, once you do something enough times, people will hate you for doing what you do. It's just kind of the way it goes. We love you when you're the underdog, but when you're dominant, we don't love you because you're no longer like us. We no longer can see the dream because we don't see the underdog story that drove you to be what you are. Tom Brady. Sorry, bringing football back into this. Tom Brady, what was he, like a 20th round pick? There's not even 20 rounds, and they still picked him in the 20th round. A guy that was never supposed to play on an NFL field, that was going to be maybe get a shot as a backup, but that's still maybe third string type of situation. Wasn't going to play in the NFL. How many times has he been to the Super Bowl? Is it 10 times? Does he have 6 rings, 7 rings now? Been there 11 times? I don't know. He's done it with 2 teams. He's crushing the hell out of the NFL right now as far as quarterbacks go in the first 2 weeks. And the dude's like 80 years old. Okay, so he's 40. What is he, 45? I think he is 45. I mean, holy crap. That's not supposed to happen. He's an anomaly. But everybody loved the anomaly back when he was with the Patriots and Drew Bledsoe went down. And here he comes and blam, the Patriots win the Super Bowl. And this guy that was like a 5th round, 6th round pick. Oh my gosh. And everybody loved it. 5 years later, everybody hated him because he kept getting rings and kept doing well. So Fallon, as much as we hype you up now and we love you now, please be ready for the hate. Because it will come, because you're going to do well and people hate when people do well. Welcome to the world. We're all just a bunch of haters because we hate people that do well. Trust me, I got my little hates inside me too. But back on my soapbox. We need to see women's darts more prevalent. We need to see tournaments for women. There's nothing wrong with having a men's tournament and a women's tournament and then allowing those two to come together. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. That's going to help the younger men, the younger women progress. It's just part of the deal. It's part of the makeup of humanisms. Women, can help other younger women progress along. The guys can help younger guys progress along. You're always going to have that men versus girls. It's always been here and it will always be here. It just is. So don't fight it. Work within it. Find a way to make it mesh together so that we can see it all come together. Okay. At some point, It would be nice to kind of maybe eliminate some of the guy-girl stuff, and it's all just women and guys coming and playing. Could you imagine the numbers that would look like for a tournament? That could be awesome. If you get enough young ladies playing, you get enough young guys, and you get this mesh together, this could be like Asia, where they're like 5,000 people show up to try out for 5 spots into a tournament to play against the pros. It would be incredible for the sport. Money-wise, sponsorship-wise, player-wise, off the charts incredible. We can't bicker over the differences. We've seen that in soccer here, at least in America. Well, what you all call football, we call soccer. We've seen it. We've seen the bickering and the bitching and the moaning. And I'll tell you, even into the age groups of the 7 and 8-year-olds, you have now seen what happened with U.S. soccer has trickled down, and you have a huge division now again between men and women because someone bitched and moaned about stuff that should have been quietly dealt with. Bottom line, my personal opinion, I'm on my soapbox. I get to say it. It's my show. When it comes to darts, we can't be stupid and do that. We need to mesh the two together properly, but we need to right now allow women to grow in the sport. There's not enough of them, especially in the younger age group, that are really getting the push. Now, Fallon being who she is, 27, she's attractive. We're not going to take that away from her. She's got a great personality, incredible smile. She's bubbly. She's not quiet and just sits in the corner. And she's doing what she needs to do to be a superstar. We need that because younger girls are going to look to her and be like, my daughter has a jersey that we had to design. Thank you, Jennifer Mounts from Magic Wear. By the way, check out your jerseys from Magic Wear if you want custom stuff that looks like Fallon Sherrock, but all customized out. Jen Mounts can do that over at Magic Wear, magicwear.com. And of course, my kids play with Shot products. They love their Shot darts. That's all they play with. So make sure you're checking out the beautiful stuff that Shot Darts has at shotdarts.com. Like how I worked that in there. I'm smart. But she literally has a jersey that looks like Fallon Sherrock's that has her name on it. It says princess because that's Caitlin. She's the princess. But that's what she wanted. Why did she want that? Because I was like, hey, honey, come here. Check this out. Check this girl out. She's beating a dude. It's awesome. And she fell in love with Fallon Sherrock. So my daughter's a huge fan. Huge. She still likes I was about to sneeze there. Coffee break. Okay, sorry, I was about to sneeze. Really weird. But my daughter's still a huge snakebite fan. Really, she loves him just because he's colorful and fun and vibrant. And that's really what's drawing my daughter to him, not so much his game. But she's a huge Fallon Sherrock fan. She's like, I know her. Like, oh, my jersey's like hers. My daughter's going to be 6 in 2 weeks. And she's 5 and she plays darts. And if I can progress her and Dylan, dude, I'm going to make some money off my kids in darts. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to manage them. She's going to, potentially, if she decides to go that route, that's going to be what drove her to that. So yeah, does Fallon Sherrock deserve the hype? Absolutely does. And again, we need to push women's darts further. Champ Darts, if you guys are listening, and I know it's a pain in the ass to put these tournaments on, and I know you guys asked me to help out this year, and I pretty much wasn't able to do any of the stuff that we hoped I would be able to do. If for some reason my family does decide to up and move, it'll put me closer to everything else instead of being all the way here on the West Coast, since everything is on the East Coast, and I'll be able to make it to things, and the situations that we're dealing with my son at the time have dissipated, and that seems to all be okay now. So just saying, Anthony, I'll reach out to you guys if you guys want some more help. Be happy to help. But I know that it's a lot of work to put these things on. It's not, I'm sitting here saying this, but I'm not putting on a tournament for girls, for women. Unfortunately, I live in a fairly dry darts arena place where people want to play. Like, people go to the bar and play. There's a lot of people that just, I'll go by the bars and they're playing, but it's like, okay, hey, you guys want to come to a league? That's a commitment. Like, I got to do that every Tuesday night. That's too much for me. I can't handle that. Thanks. But no, I'll just come on Friday nights and drink and throw. That's pretty much darts in our area. And we have some really nice pubs that have really nice setups that are designed with the idea of, being able to put on tournaments, and no one wants to commit here in Southern California, at least the San Diego area. LA, they've got a little bit more of a darts presence, but it's a struggle. East Coast, you guys rocking it, man. I got to say, give you props. Kind of the Midwest to the East Coast, you guys are killing it there. Move to the UK. Daniel, I would love to. I just don't think they would like me there. I don't think the UK could deal with me. Just don't think that would happen. I'm too Western, too American. It's in my blood. May not come out well over there in the UK. Except for the food. I'd like to get over there with the food. If I was single, I'd be over there. Come on. But I'm not. I have a beautiful wife who's awesome, who's very much German. And that's where the red hair comes from. And got some Irish in her. And yeah. So anyway, we'll let that one go because she watches these shows too. I don't want to get in trouble. Sorry. Saw the comment. If they can handle Tib, they can handle you. That might be truth. And Matt, I'm going to read a couple of comments here. So Dax, how many times have I bleeped that up? Dude, I love you, man. I got to get you. When we restart the show, I'm hoping that you and I can do something there. But Dax says, for players of either gender age to get better, they simply need to play better players. That is the truth. If you've got a grand board, I was going to say Nexus. If you've still got a Nexus, hanging around somewhere or laying around somewhere since they stopped supporting it. If you're grand boarding it, play the animals and play an animal that's better than you. Don't play an animal that you can constantly, the animal battles. Don't play play the one that's a step up from you. So it's competitive, it's challenging. You can beat them. I was going to say win them. You can beat them occasionally. Go find better players and play with them. One, better players are okay with playing players that aren't as good as them for a couple of reasons. One, they get to play. Two, it really does help your game to help others. I know that doesn't make sense, but if you're helping someone learn the numbers and you're doing counting games with them and you're showing them your practice routines and you're showing them, the numbers, how you come up with this. And if you hit this based on this number, here's what you automatically do to correct yourself. You're reteaching yourself all the stuff you already know. So repetitive knowledge. See where I'm going there? And you're helping the sport, whatever the sport may be, and we're talking darts, you're going to be helping them out. Plus, they're going to get better, and then you're going to have that competition. There's one more person that you get to use in your realm of competition. Then they get better than you get better, and then you go back and forth. And if you got a group that you can do that with, it just really makes things so much better. I'm going to use Roy as an example. When Roy got on the scene, it was about a year ago, man, and started playing and doing stuff with the grand board and playing, and he wasn't superbly good. Let's just be honest. Sorry, Roy. I mean, he was a decent darts player, but if you look at the progression that he's had over the last year, because he's playing consistently, he's playing other players, which the grand board gives you the option to do that. They do it weekly. He's playing players that are better than him. He's in a league where there are top-notch professional players, and he gets to go against them and play them. I still suck, Roy says. Nah, man, you're getting up there. You're much better. You're better player, better rating than me at this point in time, because like I told you when we played this weekend, I think in the last 2 weeks, I've thrown darts like twice. I've screwed around, just kind of throwing darts. I just so busy, it just didn't happen. But it's the object is the playing consistently. And I'll tell you, my game has suffered when I go play an animal battle, which I did some this past weekend. Just, I was like, I got to get ready for this tournament. I'm playing Roy. I got to get ready. Started playing, and I found that I was losing to animals that I continuously beat. And I was like, crap, I got to get my game back on. So that's going to be the push. So where do we go from here? What's the deal? We need to help women darts, which means we need to do more with women darts. We need to offer up the ability for young ladies to get into darts. We need to continue to push darts for the young men, just for all young players to grow the sport and see things. Louis Williams, there's a guy that came up from the ranks, young guy. He's still young. I think he's only 21, if that. Is he even 21? I don't think he's 21. He might be 20. There's a good look at a young player who played. Now, of course, he's over in the UK, over in Europe, and, darts is something that's people actually look to. But he kind of came up through his rankings and is doing well and producing in the PDC. That's the type of thing we need to do. And here in the US, we really need to find a way to make that happen. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit more of a struggle here. It would be nice. And like I've always said, like there's $400 million in one of the lotteries. My dad's like, you got to play. And I'm like, if I play that, I win that, you better believe there's a company that's formed that's going to go to every school district to talking about putting darts in for math purposes and for other things. And we're going to jam darts down everybody's damn mouth. And there's going to be money in Champ Darts because there's going to be this company that sponsors the hell out of it with like a couple $1 million a year because I'm going to have Ooga cash to spend after my wife's done spending some of it, give her a $10,000 a month allowance. If I had $400 million, what is that after taxes? It's what, like $10, something like that. I live in California. We get like 80 times taxed. Anyway, sorry, soapbox. But again, the ladies' darts, hopefully we can see some stuff. I keep saying Champ Darts, and I know Anthony's going to call me and be like, dude, stop pushing that. But I'm going to push it anyway. Okay. We got time for next year. Start thinking about next year. Just saying. But by the way, speaking of women darts, there is a tournament that starts on the 25th of this month, PDC. You can catch that at pdc.tv. And check out Fallon. She'll be playing. You can check out the Luxshire Rose and a number of other great female players. And so check that out. Watch that. That really helps by you guys going and watching pdc.tv. If you don't have a subscription, just get one for the weekend. I think it's like £5, £5 or whatever for the weekend. It's not expensive. For the year, it's not expensive. If you don't currently have one, go do that. And even if you're not watching, just put it up on your computer because it shows that eyeballs technically are watching. So do that. Don't do it like on 3 or 4 computers because the IP address, that whole thing, it's coming through your router. They're going to know, whatever. But still, it's, do that. Go watch it. And plus, watch it just because you're going to see some incredible women's darts and you're going to see who's going to be coming up the ranks. And a couple of nice women are going to win the opportunity to play in the Alley Pally coming up in December, which, by the way, as September dies down and October comes up, we got like, I don't know, what is that? 10 weeks till the World Championship. Gerwin Price gets to try and defend that. Hopefully he doesn't have any elbow issues if he comes up against Fallon in that tournament. I wonder what that match would have looked like against Fallon and Gerwin. Would Gerwin have lost? Would he have been able to pull it out? Was he afraid that he was going to lose, and so that's why he elbow issued it? Was it legit? I don't know. These are all interesting questions. I mean, he did get to rest the elbow for the beginning of the season because of his potential COVID issue. So I'm kind of curious as to what really happened there. Did he not want to be the guy that beat her? Because he would have been booed even worse than he gets booed now. Who knows? But again, I'm still a Gerwin fan. I think the guy's a great darts player. And what he has accomplished in his short career as a professional darts player, I don't think people give him enough credit for that. He has done some incredible things in a very short amount of time in darts. So this weekend, make sure you're catching that, watch that, at least have it on in the background as you're doing other things. But try and watch it. Be fun. Speaking of PDC and Champ Darts, did you guys catch the Champ Darts on the PDC.TV this weekend? I'm hoping that you did. I'm hoping that you supported that because it does help Champ Darts out. It does help the PDC and the Champ Darts relationship maintain, which is a must for us here in America to kind of keep that pull going. Looking forward to the PDC being back over here and playing, and they're supposed to be doing New York, which could be very interesting. I think they need to move back to Las Vegas, or maybe they should just put it somewhere else. I don't know. Just saying. What else is going on in the darts world, guys? What's been going? Of course, there are a ton of things going on in regards to the virtual stuff. I've seen a lot of new virtual matches and tournaments and little leagues popping up on the social medias on Facebook. The Bearded Dart Guy, if you guys happen to follow him, you'll know that he's working with Galaxy Darts, Sharon, and that crew, and been very busy with that, but still putting up an occasional stream. Ohio. Larry says, let's bring it to Ohio. Larry, do you know what's round on both sides and high in the middle? Just saying. I was thinking more like Kansas City, Missouri, because that would be a win-win for me on a trip. Just saying. That'd be kind of fun. I gotta admit it. Be really nice. Okie dokie. Back to it. So we've got a lot of online stuff. If you're looking for stuff on Facebook, you'll see there's just a plethora of tournament things going out. Do want to give a shout out to the guys over in Florida, the Florida Darts Players. That league, if you're watching, they're doing a really good job with using social media, using the online play, producing really good streams, producing really good tournament type things. They've got a good setup there. I highly recommend, if you're not watching them, which I know most of you are, to go check out Tim and the guys over there, because they are doing incredible things in that regard. Pittsburgh, that's an idea. Imagine it being held at Disney World. Wouldn't that be crazy? That would. Actually, there's no mosquitoes there, so it could be a plus. Wonder if that would eliminate some of the PDC players, though. Sorry. That would actually be a good thing, except for, could you imagine trying to pay to get into Disneyland for that, unless they held it outside of Disney World and at a convention center? But I think that would work. I think Florida would be a good place to do it. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I think that would draw a nice crowd. My opinion is the PDC needs to be in the U.S. twice. We're a big enough country that they could do an East Coast and they should do a West Coast, because they're going to pull players in both of those that are basically the amateur players, as they're considered, but a lot of them have got some pro status that come in and play the tournament. They get to play the PDC pros. I think that would be interesting to do it on both coasts. You're going to get some of the players that are going to float back and forth, but you're going to pick up some other players that may not be able to make the trip. And I think that would be a good thing. I think of like Gino Florane, who plays Champ Darts. Being on the East Coast gives him an opportunity. Gino's a great guy. And I think that would be fun for him to do that. I really think he's got the game. If you haven't checked him out, definitely do. He's got a business. He does decks over there on the East Coast. And I think if he was able to just play darts, we would see him really competing and getting to finals in regards to the CDC or Champ Darts matches and games and weekends and tournaments. But unfortunately, here in America, you got to do other stuff besides the darts. So I'd like to see Dax play. Dax, that's the thing, is we need to get you playing. We need to get you some soft tip. I don't know. Are you doing soft tip, man? But we need to get you playing, because I know you got game. I'm going to give Dax a quick shout out for those that are watching and don't know who Dax is. Dax lives in the East Coast, in the New Yorkish area, and is an incredible resource. If you go to a-zdarts.com and check out their blog post, you'll find a bunch of his blogs there. Dax needs to do a full book, which I think is in the works. But the how-tos, the mental coaching, what shoes to wear. I still think these are okay. Just saying, they have arch support, Dax. All of those fun things with darts, you want to get better. He is the man. He also does virtual coaching. So you just send him some videos. He'll work with you. If you're in that area around him, he can meet up with you, I think, and do some stuff. I think he's doing that. But really, definitely an incredible resource for those that play darts. So check out Dax. Look him up on Facebook. But best place is a-zdarts.com, and just go to the blog post, and you're going to get all his writings right there, and you'll be able to reach out to him. Just really good stuff. He's been on the show a couple of times. We've talked about a number of things like the throw, the grip, shoes, which is my favorite thing. I still like, I get that $400 million. You better believe there's going to be the most incredible, luxurious darts shoe program that is produced. And I'll probably have to hit Dax up for, his Skechers love of shoes. I think it was Skechers that he was big on. So he does say yes, in-person sessions going strong again. So again, if you're in that Northeast area of the country, and because I think you guys like all of you guys are like within 5 minutes of each other, that whole section, like 8 states are like stuck together, and it takes you a couple minutes to get to each other. You can hook up with him and do some in-person stuff. Plus, again, he's doing virtual and all that other stuff. So just want to give a shout out to you, Dax. You're a great guy. And for those that don't know, we are going to be taking a break on this show for a little while. It's hard for me because today was a lot of fun, and I got a little bit of time to prepare some notes and kind of prep myself mentally. And so it was a little more fun for me. But we are going to be adding in a new program that I want to make sure I understand and play with enough. So we're going to be taking a break. Next week I'll be on, and that'll be kind of the last show for a while. The plan is to take the remainder of the year to just do stuff with family. If we do decide to move, all that decision is going to be made within that time frame, because we are honestly thinking of potentially moving. I have settled on the fact that we're never going to move. So I'm just working my life as if we're never going to move. But I'm hoping that the things that need to happen for my wife to make that choice will happen, because I would move in a heartbeat. I love Southern California. It's beautiful. It's great here, but there's a lot of stuff that make it not so great. And the fact that I could sell the house I'm currently in and pay cash for a house in Tennessee or Missouri. We're looking at Maryville, Tennessee. Maryville. It's outside. What's that? I don't remember what city that's outside of. That's how good it is. But, I got to make sure I have that accent, because I don't want to say Maryville, because they'll be like, you're from California. So I got some Maryville. We're looking there. And, of course, we're looking at Springfield, Missouri. Those are kind of our 2 hot spots right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But with that said, we're taking that time off. I'm going to be playing with this new program, really getting this kind of dialed in. I'm going to be reaching out to people like Dax and some other people to see about when this new show comes out, if we can do segments, that we can pre-film some segments and do some stuff so that we can put those into the show, and make it more like an actual ESPN-y darts program with some fun and some interviews and some crazy stuff built into it. So working on all that, working on the website. I've done a bunch of stuff on the back end, just haven't implemented it. And I need to get back to my reviews. Bottom line, Emma over at Shot, the sweetest woman that I know and the greatest company I know, they sent me product when they did their product launch almost 2 months ago. And I still haven't gotten the reviews done. Jen Mount sent me some stuff from A to Z that she said, just when you get a chance, do them. And she sent that about 2 months ago. And I haven't done a review in 2 months. And so I apologize to them, and I apologize to you guys. Some of you have asked me, and I said, yeah, I'm doing the review this week. And I have done them. They just were, I can say this here, they were shitty. They just didn't come out good. I had no energy. They looked boring. They just weren't fun. Even when I tried to add some flash to them before I sent them to my editor, I was like, ugh. But I promised Emma this morning that I would get at least one of their products done this week. Today is Tuesday. I'm leaving Friday for a little couple of days with the wifey. It's one of our 3 weekends a year that we get where the grandparents watch the kids. And we're doing a marriage retreat. Actually, I'm excited about it. It's in Palm Springs. We're going to be sitting around the pool, learning about each other more, doing the marriage thing. We like that type of stuff because it bonds us closer together, and we get to talk about some of the things we may not like a whole lot about each other, but we're with other people, and so we kind of get away with it. It's kind of like that movie Marriage Retreat without maybe all the pornographic stuff. Well, at least the pornographic stuff with one person with someone else's spouse. I'm going to leave that alone right there. So anyway, I'm going to get that done in the next couple of days. And that will be up because I promised I would do it. So I'm going to hype up some energy and get that done. Guys, it's been a blast today. It's been fun talking the hype about Fallon Sherrock. The hype is real. It is true. She definitely deserves all the accolades that come with this. She has done some stuff that hasn't been done before. She did the bonus stuff that hasn't been done before. The Chiefs and Mahomes did the bad stuff that hadn't been done before. They got hyped for the bad, so we really need to hype her up. She's not going to be on ESPN. She's not going to be in the highlight reels like she should be. But I love the fact that MVG, even though a few years ago said there's no way a woman would ever compete with the men, has flip-flopped. That's what Fallon has been able to do. She's been able to take hardened hearts and soften them and show that she can compete, which means the women in general can compete. So I think that's a good thing. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and what happens this weekend, of course. And then once we get to the Alley Pally in a couple of months, and then I would say Q School, we get to, getting a tour card. And yeah, I'm just excited to see where that goes. I'm just in my head, I'm just picturing, what if she does like really well this weekend and then she does really well in the world? Could we see a female world champion? Wouldn't that would be interesting. How would the darts community and world react and deal with that? What if this had been the world championships, even her getting to the finals? Could you imagine how that would flip things upside down? It's incredible to see. And hopefully she pulls out a tour card, and hopefully we get 3 or 4 women with tour cards and they can get something there. I have to say, for Lisa Ashton, as much as she's been around the sport and the guys are cool with her and she's kind of like just one of the guys type of thing, she's still the only female tour card holder and dealing with these tournaments, and she's the girl there. Now I know she can hang out with the guys and chat, and she's done that, and she's not a spring chicken. I'm not picking on her or anything. We all get older. She's an older lady, so she's dealt with a lot of this stuff for a while. And I'm sure she's got good friends, but she doesn't have any female companionship there. It would be awesome to see 3 or 4 women that have PDC tour cards that they can build that camaraderie like you see some of the guys do. Just saying, I think it would be interesting. It's not like she's going and hanging out at Snakebite's house and, hanging out with him for a month or so and practicing with him and doing all that, because that would be weird. We would be like, what's up? They're both married. What's going on? So just saying, that would be cool. All right. Thanks again, guys, for catching this episode. There will be one more next week, and then we're going to take a little break. I said through the end of the year, but I'm probably lying about that because the World Championships are coming up, and I'm going to have to run my mouth about that. So you're probably more than likely going to see that. Again, guys, thank you so much for all that you do in supporting the channel, watching this, those that purchase things off the website that really needs to be redone. It's pathetic. I know. I'm sorry. I need to do it. I need to just implement all the edits that I have in the background. I just have to take the site down for a couple of days to really make that happen, and I just have to schedule it. But thank you again, everybody, for doing that. For my patrons, again, next week, this is the end of the month, end of the quarter. I will be doing something. I want to do something for all of you, but I will be drawing a name next Tuesday for an extra cool little surprise packagey thing. And then I will be shooting you guys all a little thing just for supporting the show as a thank you. So if you guys want to support the show, you can go over to Patreon and look up Atomic Darts, and you can support the show through that if you would like to. All right, everybody, thanks again for catching this episode of Atomic Darts. I will see you guys next Tuesday. I'm your host, Matthew. Don't forget to check out Shot Darts at shotdarts.com, where you get artwork you can throw, feel, have in your hands, have fun with. And while you're doing that, you need to make sure you have a really killer jersey, which you can get those from Magic Wear and magicwear.com. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful day. See you next Tuesday. Watch the darts this weekend. The all ladies playing. It should be exciting. Maybe we'll see a cat fight and some darts thrown at each other. Could happen. Got to be watching to see if it does. Thanks again.